All right, guys. All right. The heavyweight division is already heating up. And I'm talking about the heavyweight division in the UFC. Guys, it's about to get spicy. Now, let me tell you what's going on. Alex Pereira is already plotting his heavyweight move, potentially skipping over the likes of Tom Aspinall entirely. Now, Tom has got something to say about this, and so does Daniel Cormier because he's calling him out on it. There's red flags everywhere, guys. So look, there's lots to unpack here. Let's get into it. What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to Duality 7X. I'm your host, Sheeraz. Welcome to the channel. Here we try to dig into the wildest, most trending stories relating to the world of MMA, UFC, the WWE, and boxing. And of course, everything in between, guys, because there's always lots of drama to talk about, especially when it comes to the world of combat sports. This is where opinions are pretty much raw and unfiltered. So if you guys are on this ride, like I am, let's get it on, guys. Let's get this going. Let's talk about what's happening here. Now, Pereira, as everyone knows, just recaptured the light heavyweight title by knocking out Ankalaev at UFC 320 only 80 seconds into the first round. This is shocking. Nobody that I know expected Pereira to win in such decisive fashion. Yes, there were a lot of people who were saying Pereira might win, but there was more people that I know who were saying Ankalaev is probably going to win, and I was in a camp that thought he was going to win by decision. I mean, the way Pereira dismantled Ankalaev, he literally took him out. And in such decisive manner, guys. Like, I mean, within 80 seconds, he is a monster. But now he's dropping hints about potentially moving up to heavyweight, right? But I mean, so when you think of heavyweight, you think of Tom Aspinall, because wouldn't that be incredible to see Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira in the octagon? Yeah, but not immediately. I mean, I don't think he's looking at. I think he wants to skip Tom Aspinall altogether. All right, and instead, he's snubbing Aspinall. He's trying to go over his head, and he's trying to go for Jon Jones. He's trying to aim for that legacy splash. Now, you have to understand, Pereira is 38 years old, right? So time is not necessarily on his side. He's in that phase where, for right now, what matters to him the most is legacy. And building that legacy and leaving behind an everlasting legacy. He wants to be known as one of the most dominant fighters, right, in the UFC, right? So legacy over money, legacy over wins. I think right now this is where Alex Pereira is trying to steer his career to, or at least trying to finish off his career, making sure that people will remember his name as one of the greatest fighters in the UFC. What am I going to say about Tom Aspinall? He's the heavyweight king, guys. He's the heavyweight king. And, I mean, he's going to defend his championship, his crown, versus Ciryl Gane at UFC 321. Now, Dan Cormier is openly saying that Pereira skipping Aspinall actually shows Aspinall's problem. He hasn't built enough must-fight status yet. And maybe this is the reason why that Alex Pereira is like, you know what? Why go through all the trouble of fighting Tom Aspinall? I mean, even if I win this fight, yeah, it'll be like another victory, great. But what he wants to do is he wants to cement his legacy by taking out one of the top fighters in the UFC. Somebody that everybody continues to talk about. He draws big crowds, and he's a household name, and I'm talking about Jon Jones. Look, bottom line, if you see Jon Jones and Alex Pereira go toe-to-toe in the octagon, I think that's going to be huge. I mean, can you just imagine the frenzy, like the marketing behind it? People are going to go nuts. And so this is why this fight matters, guys, right? And this is why I think Pereira is really trying to streamline his next few fights very strategically. Again, he's 38 years old. I don't know. Maybe he thinks taking on a guy like Tom Aspinall is just going to be a waste of his time. But what if Tom Aspinall completely annihilates Ciryl Gane, right? And then And I mean, those two guys, those two collide. I mean, I think that's going to be an unbelievable fight. I still think Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira would be absolutely incredible. And look, Alex Pereira has been flirting with wanting to go heavyweight for quite some time. Even during the whole lead up to Uncle Ive and him at UFC 320, he's been talking about potentially going heavyweight. So he's already got his mind set, it seems like, right? So I get where DC's coming from, but I mean, if you're Pereira, you're chasing headline fights right now over safe matchups. I don't think Pereira's looking for safe matchups. I mean, if he was looking for safe matchups, he wouldn't have fought Ankalaev again and risk his legacy by losing to him twice, right? So Pereira's in a very, very comfortable, and I'm going to say comfortable, and a very unique situation. I'll say comfortable because he could easily get into another rematch with Ankalaev. Ankalaev is claiming that he was injured, pre-fight. He had some rib problems. I mean, I think he broke one of his ribs or something prior to UFC 320. Now, if this is the case, then yeah, I do want to see this rematch. I want to see Ankalaev at the best that he is. I want to see him like ready to go at the top of his game. And I want to see Alex Pereira at the top of his game. So maybe it makes more sense to see these two guys fight as opposed to, say, taking on the likes of Tom Aspinall, maybe Cyril Gane, maybe I'm looking at it I'm trying to look at it from everyone's perspective, right? And Alex wants, money is important, but I think he really wants to showcase to the world that it's like Mike Tyson. It's like any major boxer, right, or major fighter. They want to make sure that their name is remembered in history, not for just taking on like the average guy. They want to be known as the baddest man on the planet, right? So I think this is what Pereira is gunning for, and so skipping Aspinall could be very risky. Fans will probably see it. I mean, the fans will be kind of split down the middle. I mean, you got his fans. His fans are always going to support him no matter what Pereira does. But on the flip side, a lot of people are going to say he's dodging him, right? Now, the question is, who has to really earn that fight? Is it Pereira that needs to earn that fight? No, I don't think so. I think Pereira's got a slightly bigger name than Tom Aspinall, but it seems like Tom has to earn that must-fight aura. He has to do what he's got to do to get into that conversation as a top, like a very top tier, marketable, marquee fighter. And I'm not saying he isn't. Tom Aspinall is the king of the heavyweight division. But why is it that his name is not spoken in the same breath as, say, the likes of Alex Pereira? Why is that? So maybe Tom Aspinall has to do a little bit more to potentially earn that. Time will tell, guys. I mean, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, right now he's the king by default. He is, and so what's going to happen in the coming weeks, coming months? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I know it's going to be exciting, and I can't wait to hear what goes on. Right? I mean, in a reaction video, Tom pretty much said straight up that I was wrong about Pereira. He expected a tougher fight. He actually, I think he had Ankalaev winning in this, but then, for him to watch Pereira dismantle Ankalaev within 80 seconds, in the first round, that pretty much stung him a lot. And so there's the other thing too. When we're talking about Alex Pereira overlooking Tom Aspinall and wanting to take on other marquee fighters, maybe he's just pissed. Maybe he's just really angry at Aspinall Aspinall didn't give him enough credit where credit was due, I guess, right? So maybe this is a little bit more of an ego, or shall I say more of a pride thing, if anything. So you can't blame him for being a little bit salty. But at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of people thought Ankalaev was going to win this fight, right? So now it's Pereira's time. It's his opportunity to control the narrative and to control the storyline, and to show to the world that he's the true king now. But in order for him to be the king, he has to take on Tom Aspinall. He can't duck him, you know. So look, I love where this is going, guys. It's a lot of drama, but I also like the fact that Aspinall came out and said he was wrong. There's a chance that, you know, I think there's still a strong possibility that these two can lock horns sometime soon, and yeah, the momentum that Pereira brings to the table is absolutely dangerous, guys. And if Tom doesn't strike fast, I think Pereira could definitely steal the spotlight again. Now, I want to switch gears here a little bit, and I want to talk about Charles Oliveira. And he made a very stunning statement. And he's talking about, okay, so Charles essentially had talked about a particular fighter who just performed at UFC 320 as being the rightful pound for pound number one in the UFC. Yeah, Charles Oliveira gave a huge shout out to one particular fighter who he said is probably one of the greatest of all time. Okay, and that's none other than Merab P4P. Now Merab, guys, is the real deal. All right, he's often overlooked. He's a workhorse. He when he gets into that octagon, it's all business, and that's what you expect of Merab, right? I mean, look, P4P's coming off a very dominant win over Corey Sandhagen, and he's eyeing multiple defenses, right? I mean, there's a lot of talk about him potentially stepping up in weight and potentially fighting bigger names. So that is definitely on the table. His coach is also floating a super fight idea. Actually, a couple super fight possibilities, you know, or possibilities of a super fight, you know, with former pound for pound notables. And so there's some discussions happening on that end as well, too. Now, this kind of layers the narrative of what's going on, right? Now, for Charles Oliveira to make these statements, that's very bold. He didn't hold back, guys. You know, by lifting up Merab on a pedestal and saying he's P4P, pound for pound, the number one fighter in the UFC. That's a lot. That's huge respect to Merab. But Charles is a seasoned fighter. He knows what he's talking. Like, I'm not going to say he's 100% accurate in his statement, but when he talks, you know, he's quite humble too. People listen, right? P4P, he's a smart dude. All right, he stays active. He likes to make noise every now and then, but he's not a wild card. All right. He may come across as being a little bit of a wild card, but that's just because he has a lot of energy. He's like the Energizer Bunny, right? Like, you know, times 10. Okay. And anyways, by him staying active and by him, you know, basically putting his money where his mouth is, this is the reason why Merab is able to force these kind of matchups. Now, but when we're talking about Pereira, for instance, his shadow looms large, right? And everyone knows that. But question comes down to was Pereira lucky? Like, I mean, if Uncle I was actually injured, you know, if he did have a broken rib going into UFC 320, then yeah, I mean, for Pereira to win, sure, he won. But you know, like, can he have a repeat performance? I think Pereira needs to have a repeat performance like that to prove that he is the best of the best in the industry, and then he can probably retire if he wants, or maybe continue on in the UFC in some other capacity, right? So anyways, there's lots to unpack here. There's a lot of questions. In fact, I have more questions than I have answers. And I mean, if Pereira flips the weight class, you know, like if he actually thinks of, you know, going up to heavyweight and tries to target Jon Jones, that could actually turn into a super fight, and that in itself would overshadow any Aspinall versus Pereira matchup. I mean, if that momentum catches fire about Pereira wanting to take on Jones, then forget about Pereira taking on Aspinall. It's going to be Pereira versus Jones first, and then we have to see what happens with Aspinall. Now, if you're Aspinall and you're the king of the heavyweight division, you have to take this like as kind of an insult, because why is a guy like Alex Pereira flirting with the idea of coming heavyweight but not talking about taking on the heavyweight champion himself? He's like overlooking Tom Aspinall. Again, it could just be pride, guys. It could just be pride, because everybody knows Pereira's a little pissed off at Tom Aspinall for choosing Uncle Ive over him. I mean, come on. That little ego and stuff like that. I mean, but it is what it is, guys, and that could very well be the case, but we don't 100% know for sure, right? Now, the other question comes down to is, with Aspinall taking on Cyril Gane in 321, what if he loses the Gane? What if he loses to Gane? Would that blow Pereira, skip over him wide open, like an "I told you so" kind of moment? Like, suppose Pereira wins heavyweight, or wins in the heavyweight division. He becomes a 3-division threat. Legacy blow up, guys, like all over the place. Or the other thing could happen, and Pereira's age catches up with them. Man, Father Time is it's hard to beat Father Time. That's the one entity that's undefeated, and that's Father Time. You can't mess with age. All right, a gamble's a gamble, and if Pereira ends up missing weight for whatever reason, gets injured, gets knocked out, I mean, the narrative flips all over again, guys, and we're back to the drawing board. So do you guys honestly believe Alex Pereira, could beat the top heavyweights without even facing Tom Aspinall? You think that's a possibility? So who gets your money? Pereira versus Jones, or Pereira versus Aspinall, or a trilogy, Pereira versus Ankalaev, one more time to say who really is the better fighter, because they're both 1-1 now. Next fight would decide who is really the best of the best. All right? Or does Aspinall kind of like do something absolutely crazy in his next fight against Cyril Gane and call out Alex Pereira out at UFC 321? That would be a stunner, guys. So anyways, Pereira, as we know, just made the loudest move so far. Snubbing Aspinall, skipping past him. I mean, that's a statement, right? Daniel Cormier is talking about it, and talking about how, from Pereira's perspective, name value, it means a lot to him, and he doesn't think that Tom Aspinall is that big of a marquee fighter to actually fight. Tom's admitting that he definitely miscalculated points, for honesty, which kind of cost him his momentum, but he was honest about it, and he honestly thought Ankalaev was gonna get the better of Pereira, and in this case it didn't happen. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other fighters who thought the same, that Ankalaev was going to beat Pereira. It didn't happen. It's no big deal. Like, let it go and move on, right? But easy to say that, I guess. And then you have guys like Charles Oliveira, right? Talking about Merab P4P, about him being pound for pound the number one best fighter in the UFC. So that definitely adds fuel to the fire, right? I personally think Pereira's bet is gold, guys. Like, I think he's making all the right moves right now for him wanting to go heavyweight. I think that's good. But I mean, part of me also wants to see like that trilogy fight between him and Ankalaev. I mean, but then again, we don't know how long it's going to take for Ankalaev to heal up. And we don't know when Pereira wants to fight again. Okay? And will Pereira be on the White House card? I mean, there's so many storylines, like so many like what if scenarios, like what exactly is going to happen. And for Aspinall, I mean, if I'm Tom Aspinall, I got to go into this fight against Cyril Gane like, he's like, it's nobody's business. Like, he's got to beat Cyril Gane in such grand fashion, in such a decisive manner, that there's no argument that Tom Aspinall is the king of that division. And Pereira would be making a very, very he's got to make Pereira eat his words and make Pereira look stupid for for wanting to skip past him and go for guys who are not even fighting right now, like Jon Jones, right? So this is going to be a big important match for Tom Aspinall, because now he's got to prove it. He's got to prove to everybody. He's got to prove it to himself, and more importantly, he's got to shove it back in Alex Pereira's mouth that he is definitely forced to be reckoned with, and he's got to make Alex Pereira eat his words for trying to snub him and skip past him. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. Please don't forget, on your way out, to smash the like and subscribe. And join us here for more fight talk on Duality 7X for wild takes and lots and lots and lots of drama, guys, from the world of MMA, UFC, boxing, WWE. And make sure to hit the bell notification so you never miss a beat. Just remember, this Saturday, we've got two huge events. We've got the boxing event between Makhmedov versus Dave Allen. Makhmedov has obviously got his sights on a potential match against Anthony Joshua in 2026. So this is going to be an important fight for him. And for Dave Allen, he's just hoping to survive, right? So, and then in UFC, we've got UFC Rio. So I think it's going to be an incredible card. And I'm going to definitely talk about it this weekend. So I hope we'll see you guys on the next one.